Em Rusciano and Michael Lucas.
It was like viewing another species on another planet.
This is Emsolation.
I don't blame them if they don't feel safe. We're crossing lines.
We are not. It's all we've got in lockdown.
I am becoming you. It's like you possessed me.
I want to implement a safe word for my family, and I'll just shout at them, banana, banana.
You're in Emsolation.
Tick, 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 tick my box. Hello, my darlings. I don't know what to say to you. It's this. I've just finished watching a movie called 365 Dni. It's 365 days, and it is a Polish-Italian film that has just dropped on Netflix. And this whole podcast got derailed by it. I'm so sorry. So basically, the next 8 odd minutes is just Michael Lucas and I dissecting the movie because I am equal parts like turned on by it, horrified. You know, when you watch a movie, it's just one of those movies where you're like, what did I? But you're oddly aroused, but also know that that's problematic. So yeah, today it's just silly. And I know a lot of you are listening for the first time. The wonderful Constance Hall, who obviously has a bajillion followers online, she recommended the podcast on her Instagram yesterday, and I was so lovely because it's not often that happens to me. Someone of massive profile recommends something I do. Do you think people don't want to be aligned with me? Do you think that's why? I don't know, but it's always you wonderful people out there telling other people about me, and that's so awesome and helpful. But she has like 1 million followers. So welcome if this is your first experience of Emsolation. If you go back and listen to other episodes, it's very credible. We talk about important things. We have great guests. And normally on a Thursday, I have a comedian pal of mine talk about what they've been up to. But I'll be honest with you guys, I forgot to ask someone. I've been really busy watching this movie. So what you're going to hear next is just Michael and I cackling like two middle-aged golden girls about a drone sex scene involving a yacht. There's kidnapping. There's Italian billionaires. Just enjoy it. And then obviously you're going to have to go and watch this film. Make sure you're watching it like maybe with a glass of red in hand, by yourself. Maybe make sure no one else is around. Make sure no children are around. Maybe don't watch it with your husband. I feel like this is a me time movie. Do you know what I'm talking about? I feel like this is just it's normal people, but without a story. No, it's not nothing like that. But I have to say, the main guy, Michele Marrone, that's the actor's name. He's Massimo Torricelli in the movie. Oh my God, I've now gone down a whole spiral with him. He's a singer. I'm following him on Instagram. I've posted him on my Instagram. You would have seen him. He's like hard-bodied, sweaty, hairy Italian man. And he is everything, but also quite evil, but also delicious. All right, that's enough for me. That is 2 minutes, nearly 3 minutes of me pre-warning you of what's about to come. Thank you for listening. As always, the Emsolation merch, the samples landed. I'm kind of having to rework a couple things, but you'll be able to get some merch within the next month, I'm thinking. It's very exciting. And also make sure you're following Emsolation Podcast on Instagram. And if you'd like to become a patron of this podcast, if you'd like to financially support us, it'll only cost you $5 a month. Think about all the podcasts you're getting. And that enables me to have a budget to pay my guests, to pay for the merch, all those things. Go to emrusciano.com/listen if you'd like to become a super fan of this podcast and get first access to the merch. All right, enough from me. I'll bring in Michael. You have been warned. It is Giggle Fest 2020.
Em Rusciano and Michael Lucas. This is Emsolation.
Are you lost, baby girl?
It's so hard to pick the best part.
Yeah.
Like, are you lost, baby girl? He says that a lot.
I think you just need to play that a few times.
Yeah, okay.
Are you lost, baby girl?
Are you lost, baby girl? Okay.
Calm down.
I can't. There's so much. I'm so overwhelmed by. We're just gonna start. Hi guys. Obviously Michael's here. We can't control our laughter, and I've just lost my mind because I got up early this morning after the baby headbutt me at 5 o'clock, and I couldn't get back to sleep. So Michael had texted me. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Em. Happy to have been of service.
Michael texted me last night and he's like, do you want to talk about that weird sex film on Netflix? And I was like, what? So I got up this morning and I literally Googled weird sex film Netflix, and
I'm so glad that it came up. Well done, Google.
it came up like first thing. And we're referring to the movie 365 Dinny, or 365 Days. And basically it is this Sicilian Mafia boss, Massimo Torricelli, kidnaps luxury hotel sales director Laura Beale and holds her hostage at his luxury Sicilian mansion.
It's like a full-on castle, it looks like. There's a turret and stuff like that.
And gives her 1 year to fall in love with him. And, and if she doesn't, she's free to go. And if she does, great. And basically, he became obsessed with her when he nearly died and her face flashed before his eyes, and he saw that face every day, and that's what made him want to live. And he had her portraits painted and they're all hanging around the castle, but he didn't know if she was real or if she existed. And he, in fact, even entered into other relationships and told the girls, I'm sorry, see this woman on the wall, this fantasy woman? She's the one I'm going to be with. You're just the placeholder.
But I didn't understand in that the opening is his father gets assassinated right in front of him and he's seen this Laura woman immediately before. But was she there?
I don't know. Apparently she was kind of, from what I can gather, frolicking on the beach. But that scene does give way to some of the greatest dialogue of the show. Beautiful women are heaven for the eyes, hell for the soul, purgatory for the wallet.
True.
Oh, my God. So I just want to, I guess I have so much to say and I'm just bursting from all of the stimulus that I've taken in. So I just want to preface this all with the whole concept is problematic, obviously.
Terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Kidnapping someone. What? Stockholm syndrome leading to love. It's just...
Yeah, everything I need everyone to know wrong. And if there's any men out there thinking this is what women want, no. I mean... Unless you look like Massimo and like, even then.
We just have to do a blanket. Not only is this probably one of the worst films you can find on Netflix, and that's saying something, we also know it is so morally objectionable.
It's abhorrent. It's not okay. And I also feel like if you looked like Massimo, this guy, this Michele Marone, this actor who I'm obsessed with, he's apparently like
so obsessed you just keep slipping into this florid accent every time you say his name.
I love him so much. I've just been watching YouTube after YouTube. He's a singer. He sings the title track to the film. He's like, although I thought he was 45, but sure, 29. And
no, he doesn't look 45.
He does. He looks quite old. He does. I think he looks older than 29. Anyway,
it's all the working out. He works out a lot.
So much working out. Oh, yes. But I just think, I feel like if Massimo had have politely approached Laura and said, hey, mate, do you want to go on a date? She probably would have ditched the meathead, bald, awful boyfriend she was with and just voluntarily gone. I just feel like Massimo went from zero to kidnap very quickly. Do you know what I mean?
It was unclear why that had to be his strategy going forward.
I'm just like, give her a chance to just say yes and maybe go on a nice date. I just don't understand. Where's your confidence, mate? Do you have that little confidence in yourself? You're the head of a mafia family.
There are scenes that suggest he does have some confidence in himself.
Are you talking about on the private jet?
Oh, there's a plethora. He in many different settings.
But I mean, I don't want you to think that Massimo's all bad because he does torture and kill someone in the other part of his mansion who's trafficking children. So I don't want
He's
you to
an avenging angel.
Here's what I think, right? So the first sex scene takes place with her vibrator, which is a real letdown. So she gets home from this terrible board meeting where someone actually says to her, you'll need balls to do this job. And then she's like, yeah, well, I've booked the hotel out, bitch. Come at me. I've got big balls. And then she goes home and she wants to like hook up with her big, beefy, meathead, horrible boyfriend. And he's like, no. Oh, by the way, she also has a heart problem. That's important. She faints a lot.
The vibrator, no, that's an essential part of the storytelling because it's got to establish that she's not satisfied. And they do it vividly.
But I just feel like anyone who's ever used a vibrator, I'm sure many of our listeners have, That's not how it goes. The way we're not in sexy bras. We're not like writhing on the bed in silk sheets with our beautifully pointed, perfectly shaved legs. Especially not in lockdown. That is an unrealistic portrayal of woman v vibrator. I just want to put that straight out there.
Well, you just shattered my impression of what you were doing in lockdown.
And then so then we go through the kidnapping, and I do appreciate the shopping montage. So while she's being kidnapped and she's still really angry, she's not too angry that him and his beefy bodyguards go on a shopping spree, and we get a change room montage, which I'm all for. I love it. She looks amazing, doesn't need to wear a bra.
The film, just as a whole, is dedicated to montages. Like the pop music kicks in.
Can we talk about the multiple Eurovision power pop ballads that happen every 3 minutes?
So good. This is basically like, the whole thing is 50 Shades of Grey, the Eurovision performance, is how I would describe it.
It's like someone crawled to the outer, darkest crevices of my psyche and fantasy realm and extracted this monstrosity. Guys, there's a scene where, so finally, I'm just thinking about the gays that come in the floral suits that you probably didn't see. So basically we're building up, and finally we've gone a 1 hour and 6 minutes with no sex except for the vibrator. And finally the payoff happens, and it involves a yacht, a drone. I mean, it is. You said to me, make sure you watch the boat sex, and
that's what it's all about. I must admit, I was doing a little bit of a flipping on the timeline. And do you have a time code, Em, for the boat? Just to help out.
1:07, 1 hour and 7 minutes. We get drone yacht sex, and the drone yacht sex. My God.
Well, I think what's incredible about it is part of it is drone. So we go the very high angle floating over them having sex on the boat, but then we also get the camera up there and in the whole action in a way that I would love to see behind the scenes, because that cameraman, honestly, practically would have been penetrated himself or herself if he was there. You really get a hell of a lot of angles, and it's a very, very active limber sex scene, shall we say? Yeah. There's a lot of flipping.
Yeah. And then like so much sex, so much angles and moving and flexible bending, and then different positions, and they're literally like, I was thinking things like, what about the captain? What about the person driving the yacht?
And also, isn't it implied? Doesn't he say something like, we only slept 1 hour?
Oh, yeah,
the implication is they've gone a full 23 hours.
Yeah. Yeah,
non-stop sex.
He dives into the ocean to clear off all the bodily fluids, and he comes out and he gives her a kiss because she's asleep, very like on the deck. And the first thing I thought of as a mother who's breastfed 3 children is the way she lies back nude. Her boobs just stay where they are. They don't scurry under her armpits. Like, I was just so jealous how her boobs just stayed there. And then he says to her, I have a surprise for you. And she's like, oh, and like more? And then he says, yes, we're going to a ball. And she's like, but I have nothing to wear. She's totally forgotten she's been kidnapped by now, guys. And then 2 gays appear in loud floral suits, and we've got another montage.
It does feel like you were creatively involved in this film in some way.
It's important to point out Massimo does wander around with large black envelopes containing information to blackmail people with. I don't know. I want to know where
he's mafia. He's a mafia dude, isn't he?
But he's a mafia dude with a heart of gold who kidnaps women.
And a penis of steel.
And a penis of steel that can go 23 hours straight.
23?
For me, I just feel like it's okay. So we've already said terrible concept. Please don't go around kidnapping women if you want them to fall in love with you. Not the way to do it. Okay, all of that. Storyline, appalling. And sometimes they slip in and out. It's this Euro trash. Sometimes they're speaking Polish. Sometimes they're speaking Italian. Sometimes it's like broken English. And the broken English scenes are horrendous. Like things like, why you do for me to love? Like things like that. And you're like, sure.
What's the baby girl line? What's the signature?
Are you lost, baby girl?
Are you lost, baby girl? Are you lost, baby girl? Like, he says that at weird times. Totally, like, weird. It's unnecessary, but sure. Are you lost, baby girl? Well, let's hear it one more time.
Are you lost, baby girl?
Oh, yes. Yes, I am, Massimo, in your eyes. But it's like it makes 50 Shades of Grey look like Home and Away. I'm not joking.
But I feel like I just need to state for everyone that watches it with this lens, you do not see his penis. No matter how active he gets, no matter how much the camera's flipping around, that editing is so precision. It gets so close.
And I
paused.
But
they never question.
You get slight top of peen, a hint of peen.
There was one shot that could have been side peen, could have been literally a salami. I'm not quite sure, but you don't get it. You don't get it. And that editing, honestly, so precision. That editor, I'm going to presume, was responsible for getting the Thai cave boys out because that was pinpoint editing.
What a line! Oh my god! Sure. But it's just, and also like there's a lot of oral sex that happens for him, like the head job shots, for lack of a better term. It felt a bit gratuitous. They were the bits I wasn't so keen on. And if you're making this movie for women,
felt a bit gratuitous. That's where she draws the line.
For me, it got really unrealistic. Now, I just feel like if you're, presumably this is pitched at women, and I want to watch people going down on women. I don't want to watch, because as a woman, I just feel this is going really, sorry, we should have given a warning, but I think that women prefer the idea of watching someone go down on another woman because we can then kind of apply it to ourselves and remember how it felt for us. And I think it's a much more pleasurable situation than watching, I don't know, I just think they got that bit wrong. The amount of women the amount of like, you know, gratuitous HJ shots on him felt
his theory seems to be if make you watch me get a blowjob from someone else, you're just going to fall in love with me.
Yeah.
I think there's some holes in that theory. I think there's some larger theories at play that also have some holes in
it. I feel like Massimo just needs some self-confidence. I think this all just leads back to the fact that perhaps he watched his father be brutally murdered, you know, the man who was perhaps leading him down a better path. And now he thinks that kidnapping women and making them watch him be pleasured is the way to win their hearts. And for me, I would have taken a nice pasta meal on an Italian beach and, you know, a nice bottle of red, and I probably would have gone back to your mansion in Sicily.
To be honest, Emma, I don't even think it would have taken that much. I don't think you needed the beach, and I don't think the red had to be that nice. Just look at him. He's a strapping fellow. He's an Italian Adonis. Is he Italian or Polish?
Italian.
The film itself is Polish.
She's Polish. He's
right.
Italian.
Okay.
And I just love how she got kidnapped on her 29th birthday. And if she doesn't feel anything by her 30th birthday, he lets her go. I just love that little. But I guess it's really hot. Like, it's sexy. And if you've been like locked up in isolation as a single, it would be quite potent and dangerous to watch before you head back out into the world.
Well, apparently what's happened is that it's been released on Netflix with not many expectations at all. And then in America, it's risen up to the top 5 of things that people are watching on Netflix without any kind of advertising campaign, completely unexpectedly, because people have been so cooped up
100%.
And they just want this Italian yacht sex.
Oh, the Italian yacht sex should be a must. There should be a tour. I mean, if Italy starts up again, there should be a 365 days boat tour where you can go relive the moment. Watch how they shot the drones. There is I've just spotted on YouTube a 10-minute behind the scenes documentary on the making of that. So I'll be watching that next. But for me, he's replaced Paul Connor from Normal People. Yeah.
Oh, really? I mean, I'd got to say, I feel like you've made a shallow choice there.
Nah, because I always felt like, because when my daughter and I lust after the same person, it's always a bit gross on my end. Like, you know, like I know he's in his 20s, but this guy is still in his 20s but looks like he's had a hard life, and he's still like hot. He's still all meaty and hairy, and he's got tats on his hand and like really those puppy dog injured eyes and those big Italian lips, but still like would eat meat with his hands and no utensils, and the juice would drip down his chin, that kind of thing. But it's flat out hot. Like if you're just looking for something to watch that's hot and you can get over this documentary.
You can completely put your morals aside and your taste.
Yeah. But you did say, we were talking about, we were the last generation to really have to search hard for this kind of titillation.
Oh, I know. And I'm so excited because Netflix has a bit of a thing where Netflix is bringing back the genres of the 90s. And because they don't really make teen movies or romantic comedies anymore, but Netflix does. Netflix does both, but there was one other genre of the 90s, a critical genre, the erotic thriller. And for those of us, we are a special generation that was just before the internet. We went through puberty just before the internet hit.
Yeah.
And for us, we learned about sex from erotic thrillers. Wild Things, Basic Instinct.
Cruel Intentions.
Single white female.
Oh, my God.
It really got worse and worse as they went on. It sort of started, I think the genre sort of exploded with Basic Instinct.
Oof. Yeah.
And I mean, he was 46 when he made that movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the age of my husband. Suddenly doesn't seem so old.
But I do remember that when he did, famously, there was a Michael Douglas's Moonlit Bumwalk in Basic Instinct, and he did get a bit of criticism for it being a little on the saggy side. But at 46, of course it was. Of course it was. But I mean, that was my first glimpse of, sexual positions and the like. And, if you look at what they do to get Sharon Stone, the kind of back arch angles she's executing in that movie, it really left you with some pretty strange impressions of what sex was going to be like.
I really did. And we had to work so hard. I remember watching SBS World movies. It was just to try and get a bit of just a hint of nip, just a touch of tip somewhere, just anything. I'm just looking here. He did Disclosure as well, Michael Douglas.
Oh, that was even later. He was like 48 by that stage.
94. There's I'm just looking at Eyes Wide Shut, of course, the Extravaganza.
The worst, there's a few worsts, but as I say, Basic Instinct sort of was a reasonable start, but then it really went downhill. Colour of Night was absolutely terrible. Famous for having Bruce Willis's penis in it.
Yes.
Body of Evidence. I mean, obviously, we would never say a word against Madge, except I think even she would have to acknowledge that's terrible. And the premise of that movie was that she killed someone with her body. She sexed a man to death to get his money. But the pinnacle of it all was, of course, Showgirls. And I think that was when the genre just obliterated after that. Couldn't handle anymore.
I'm just so happy that it's making a comeback. Do you know what I mean? Wild Orchid 2, because there was a Wild Orchid 1. Yes.
Single White Female had the very memorable scene where, they were sort of identical. It was Bridget Fonda and Jennifer Jason Leigh, and one was like a stalker, looked identical. And then the pinnacle of it was when she had sex with the boyfriend and he didn't even realize until he was just about to hit orgasm, and he looked down and he was like, what you're not, and then he has this the weirdest orgasm ever on scene where he's like, oh my God, you're a stranger, but then he can't stop himself. And that poor actor, imagine reading the script going, he looks down horrified, but he's past the point of no return.
But don't forget, she also made Slither. Don't forget that Sharon Stone made Slither as well. Wow.
She was the queen of the genre. She was, and she did no one remembers this, but there was a sequel to Basic Instinct in 2000. Yes, 2006. It was, by all accounts, absolutely terrible. It has to be, just in terms of the average quality level, the worst genre of movies, and yet also in some strange way the most enjoyable, and for us very educational, helped by the fact that back in the day they used to, in the TV Guide, remember when they used to list the coding?
Yes.
And so you could see NA, all things like that. So you actually had a guide to whether you had nudity.
You wanted to be R-rated, first of all, and then you wanted the nudity, the adult themes, what else? Sex. Like it was, the coding was fantastic. I'd have a little highlighter with the TV guide. So, yeah, just appreciate it. If you are, if you were born in, say, 1983 and onwards, you got the internet at the most important time. But, I mean, I finished being a teenager in 2000. So, yeah. And then it wasn't so good because I was having my own sex then. But
was it? Had you been well prepared? Had watching Sharon Stone all those years given you an insight into the kind of moves that you were going to pull?
No. I mean, I got a lot of my kind of – The Secret Diary of Adrian Mole gave me a lot of insight. That's where I got that.
And Judy Blume books.
Yeah, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret taught me about periods and masturbating and stuff. And I remember Lockie Leonard, Humid Torpedo. I think there was something in there about pubes as well. I can't remember. I just remember reading in a book there was pubes, and I remember just thinking, oh my God, this book is, because up until then I've been reading Babysitter's Club and Sweet Valley High and Fantastic Five. And so when I got a book that said something about pubes, but Judy Blume for me was that Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret was like that. That was life-changing, that book. That was just like, oh my God.
Oh, yeah, they were riveting, those books.
Yeah.
I remember them being in the school library as well, for some reason, very dog-eared copies of them.
Oh my God.
It was a different world, wasn't it? Now they just jump on Google and God knows what they're getting.
They don't have to work for it at all. There's no foreplay now when you're looking for porn. Now it's just there. You just pop in anything you want. You don't even want it and the porn will just pop up in front of your face. You could be innocently Googling like slow cooker and all of a sudden there'll be a giant penis in front of you. It's just so
at least with 365 DNI, you have to wade through a solid hour.
1 hour and 6 minutes before you got any sort of sex. So they do make you work for it. Well, that was 22 minutes of us giggling our way. And I'm honestly
just supply the time code again. What is it? 1 hour.
1 hour and 7. We really get into it. They're on the yacht. She nearly dies. Like she falls into the water, unfortunately, and he saves her life. So like she finally agrees. Like she's waking up, she's nearly drowned, but she recovers enough to have steamy drone yacht sex. So thank God. She obviously didn't take on too much water. The other thing I kept obsessing over is she's got eyelash extensions and shellac on her nails, and I'm just worried if she's being held. I honestly thought this. She's being held hostage. Eyelash extensions need replacing after like 2 weeks. She's doing a lot of swimming and a lot of showering. So I hope that Massimo brings in an eyelash technician, or that stuff can get really ratty, and you can look like you got a dead spider on your eyelid. Okay.
Oh, I hope you pen a strongly worded letter to the scriptwriters responsible
for
that.
This movie was unrealistic because she had shellac that needs refilling after 4 weeks and eyelash extensions that wouldn't look that lush after that much swimming and showering.
When Em writes her own sexual hostage situation movie, she will be very clear about when the eyelashes turn to shit. It will be described in detail.
All right. Thank you so much for being a part of this. This is actually,
you're welcome.
I forgot to ask someone to do a comedy bit. So the whole podcast is just going to be this.
Because you're the most alive, I think.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I love it when this stuff comes around. It's just why I was put on this earth, to watch, process, deeply think about, and then talk to you. We would have had this conversation with a microphone or not, by the way, guys.
We were. That's why we were laughing so much. We couldn't stop it.
All right, you go off and have your 9,000 Zoom meetings. I'll see. We're having dinner on Friday night. I have to pick a venue. Yay, dinner.
She's making plans. You're not even out of your 2-week quarantine from the cafe yet.
Oh, God, I better think about what I'm wearing in case an Italian mafia billionaire tries to, are you lost, baby girl?
No, it's all right. He'll kidnap you and then you'll be there for 365 days. You have time. Just make sure your eyelashes are ready to endure some battering.
Are you lost, baby girl?
Okay. All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
This is Emsolation.
All right, well done. Well done on getting through that. I know you're rushing off to watch it. You are, aren't you? And if you want to just fast forward to 1 hour, 7 minutes, that's where the payoff is, okay? That is the yacht drone sex scene. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Business as usual. We'll be back next week on Tuesday. Scotty Barrow will be there. I'll have someone lined up for next Thursday. I'm also going to be lining up some great in conversations. Tina Arena being one of them. I know, how exciting. I hope you got something out of today. I don't know if you did. Apologies for all the wheezing. I just get so wheezy. And have a great weekend. Enjoy whatever you're up to. And I'll hear you guys on Tuesday. Bye.
Are you lost, baby girl?